everyone, and welcome back to Big Time Fantasy Football. You're here with Nick and Zach.
Yo,
If you're watching
yo.
today's video, please give us a like, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done that. Really helps out the channel, helps us grow so we can bring you the best content possible. As for today, you want to let them know what we're getting into, Zach?
Yeah, so huge first couple of days of free agency here. We're kind of sitting towards the end of the second day here, so I think it'll be quiet for the rest of the day. But first 2 days, absolutely wild. So we're just going to kind of break down some of the signings today. We're just going to do basically everybody, all the other positions except running back, and then we have our own video coming up for running back specifically, just because it was even crazier class for running backs than everybody
So
else.
many.
So we're going to do that. Just get right into it. We're going to start with quarterbacks. First guy we got is Kirk Cousins going to the Falcons. Do you have his contract details, Nick? I forgot to write that one down.
Yeah, it was a 4-year, 180 million, with 100 million guaranteed. So a lot of money for an older quarterback coming off the Achilles
Coming off
injury, I
Achilles.
believe.
Yeah, that's a big one. But
Yeah.
yeah, I saw
So
that after this, he's going to make 400 million in career earnings. So Kirk getting paid, Kirk O'Chains. But
his agent deserves an award or something. He's going down.
but yeah, if he can come back, then that's going to be huge for the pass offense for the Falcons. I mean, Pitts and London, their value is going to go way up, and even Bijan being a really good receiving back. So I think their offense has everywhere he's gone. I mean, he had Justin Jefferson, on his last team, but even before that, he's always led a top-rated pass offense. So I think he can make that offense explode for sure.
Absolutely. I think he fits the style that they're going for pretty well there as well. Before Zach Robinson had a Matthew Stafford and a Jared Goff. Both can run a pass offense pretty well, a spread offense. Um, Very similar to Kirk's style of play. Basically, the only thing the Falcons were waiting on was a quarterback. They got their man. They paid up for him a little bit, but I'm happy about it because I just acquired little Drake London this offseason, so
Yeah, that was
helps
good
me
timing
out.
because his value, like I said, just skyrocketed. So got in on him early. I think you got
Hmm.
what did that like 3 days ago. So it's good
Yeah.
timing. Yeah, perfect. Okay, well
Um,
then we got replacing him on his own team. We got Sam Darnold. He had a 1 year prove it deal. I think it was like between 3 and 4 million.
10 mil,
So
10 mil,
it was
so
10
a little
million.
bit. Yeah,
I don't know who I was thinking of. That. Yeah, so I mean, he's getting a little bank in that 1 year, but honestly, it obviously hurts Justin Jefferson from where he was last year. He's still an amazing talent, still going to be one of the top rated guys, and that's if Darnold is their guy week one. He's probably a bridge guy. Maybe they find someone else and have him compete via draft or trade or some other way. But right now he's a bridge. A lot of people are doing the same thing whenever Sam Darnold goes to a new team, like, oh, he can really break out in this. But I mean, we haven't seen that in any situation yet. So I don't buy into it, but give the guy a chance, I guess.
yeah, yeah, I agree. I'm not buying into it until I see it, and I haven't seen it yet. So, on
Exactly.
the other hand, Justin Jefferson, like you said, should still be a top talent. I think he's still the number one receiver, but there's now some discussion about it, whether it's him or CeeDee Lamb or Jamar Chase, just because they're both connected to elite quarterbacks, and we'll see if they draft a rookie. Minnesota gets a rookie. I think they have a pretty high pick. There's talks of them trading up even with the Chargers to the 5 spot, so we'll see if they make a move. But
Yeah, definitely a spot they can get someone else. Um, then next guy we have. Who did we do next?
Gardner Minshew to the
Minshew. Okay.
Raiders. Um,
Yeah,
Looks like
Minshew
a
to the
2-year,
Raiders.
$25 million deal, 15 million guaranteed. So they're definitely giving him a fair shot. I think it will still be a competition between him and Aiden O'Connell, who showed very little this past year, but we shall see going forward. Minshew almost led the Colts to the playoffs in Anthony Richardson's absence this past year. He's been hanging around in the league. One of the coolest backup quarterbacks we do have in the NFL. So we'll see if he can
Yeah,
bring that coolness to Vegas. Keep it going.
yeah, definitely another bridge guy there. Obviously, he's not their long term plan, but I think he does win the job, and I think that helps Devonte Adams a little bit. I just over O'Connell, I think it'll bump up his value a little bit. Obviously, he's not skyrocketing, up these rankings, but I think Devontae Adams' value does slightly improve next season.
Definitely. Definitely. All right, getting into next guy here. We went Marcus Mariota, who just went to the Commanders today.
Yeah.
Do you think it'll be a big competition between him and Sam Howell? Do you think they're gonna get another piece in there? What are your thoughts?
I think they have the 2 pick. I think they're going quarterback. Um, yeah, I think they'll go quarterback. I think that Mariota, another third guy in a row here, though I'm saying the bridge quarterback, but I think, and probably not very long, maybe, first couple weeks, or if the rookie looks great, polished off the bat, then they'll just feel free to start him, have Mariota as the backup. But I think Mariota probably gets in there for 2-3 games until that rookie is fully ready, and then they kind of let him rip, whoever they end up going with, be it, Daniels or whoever they go with.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know another guy we don't have on our list here to talk about, but Jacoby Brissett to the Patriots, same type of deal, I think. Just
Yeah.
both teams have a top pick. They're going to get a quarterback most likely, and they just want a veteran presence in there, just showing them the ropes, filling in until the rookie's ready.
Yeah, yeah, pretty straightforward. And then, so last guy, we got one of the bigger moves, overall, Mr. Unlimited.
Mr. Unlimited.
Got him going over the Steelers for a minimum deal, actually. So, but I mean, he's still getting what 38,
He's
39
getting
million
maximum
from your
money
Broncos.
from the Broncos.
So his pockets aren't hurting too bad. But yeah, and Deontay Johnson actually just left today. That was news that broke right before we started recording. So I was going to say that it would help him out, but he's gone to the Panthers. We'll get into him a little later. But it does help Pickens out. I'd say so. Just the upside that you have with Wilson in your offense, I think, is higher than the upside you have with Pickett. And this was kind of the last straw for me to where like I'm done listening to what teams come out and say, because right before they got Russ, they're like, oh, Pickett's our guy. We're gonna stick with him, and then they go out and get Russ right after. So I'm not listening to that garbage. But how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him. Pickett is definitely not my first choice. My second choice, I would rather have Russ over him, especially they're giving him, 1.2 mil only.
Yeah.
I'm taking
I don't
that
blame
shot
him,
all
but
day.
don't lie to us.
What's that?
So I don't blame him, but don't lie to us.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Come on. That's Arthur Smith, baby. That's Arthur Smith
I
effect.
guess
He's
so.
there now. But I do think that offense, they're going to have a decently effective run game. It's going to help Russ out a lot. I know he played super well with Cortland Sutton, made him look really good, at least in the touchdown category. And George Pickens is kind of like that style as well. This receiving, the receiving prospects goes so deep into the draft this year. I think they can easily get another piece along with him.
Yeah.
But yeah, this offense, hopefully it's better, but they're more reliant on their defense, so it's kind of not somewhere I'm looking for fantasy production at all.
Yeah, probably another 10-9 win season, 10 or 9 win season, sneak into the 7th seed, but it should be fun to at least see, what Russell does. He's always fun to watch, I think. But so on our list, or I'll just throw it out there. They got Tyrod Taylor went to the Jets. I don't think it's much. He'll probably be back up. If Aaron Rodgers gets unhealthy again, then he's going to step into that role. Tyrod, I like Tyrod a lot, but I just feel like he always gets the bad end of the stick and he's always bouncing around. But at least he has a contract, so shout out to Tyrod Taylor. But we only have one tight end that we were really going to dive into today, and that's Gesicki going to the Bengals. Yeah, he's had a couple down years the last 2 years, but the 2 years before that, he did have, big years for the Dolphins. So I think that... Was he on the Dolphins both years? Or did he go Patriots?
He was on the Dolphins, and I believe he moved to the Patriots.
Okay. For the last 2 years, right? And then before that, he was on
Yes.
the Dolphins. Okay, yeah. So those years of the Dolphins were good, but main thing is the Bengals needed a tight end, and if he can kind of bounce back, then that's that could be a great fit for both sides of the party.
Definitely. There's a lot of good offense, a lot of good production to be had in Cincinnati with Joe Burrow. Hopefully he comes back fully healthy. I don't think it takes too much away from Jamar Chase, or if T. Higgins is there, I don't think it takes away from him either. Um, but yeah, it should be somewhat somewhat a new look offense. Um, yeah, I got Joe Mixon out of there, which we're going to talk about in our next video, but I think he does have a little more opportunity than splitting time with the Patriots. So.
Yeah. And then, yeah, I mean, Gerald Everett moved too, but not really something that I think is of note. I think really those are the two only really tight end names that moved. So, yeah, let's kick it over to the receivers. We got Gabe Davis going to the Jaguars. I think this, mostly out of everyone, helps Christian Kirk the most. Just Gabe Davis being a downfield threat, a speedy guy. It doesn't always translate to fantasy, but it does usually help the guys around them. So I think Christian Kirk on those mid to short routes will be a lot more open. I mean, I guess they had Ridley kind of doing the same field stretching thing. But I think Gabe Davis will, kind of fit into that role, and then hopefully he can catch. That'd be nice for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And just like he was at Buffalo, he's got that field stretcher role. I think you hit that right on the head. I think Jacksonville is just they tried it with Calvin Ridley, didn't really work out too well in their favor as far as getting Trevor Lawrence better receivers and more productive receivers. I think they're just trying to fill a gap this year. They didn't like what they saw out of Ridley, so they're going to try a different boomer bust option, and Gabe Davis. So sign him for 3 years. I think you're right. I think Kirk's really going to be the big winner here, maybe even the run game. But we shall see. I think they did sign another smaller pickup at receiver. I'm blanking right now.
They did. It's slipping my mind who. We talked about it right before the show. Maybe it'll come back to us. But
Yeah.
Let's head to the next guy for now and pin that one. But we got Darnell Mooney going over to the Falcons. Falcons just kind of collecting all their pieces on offense, doing as much as they can there, so that's pretty cool. I think that move lowers his own personal value. He's behind Pitts, London, Bijan. There's so many other pieces on the offense now. But I think it does help those other guys because he's not as much of a field stretcher as a Gabe Davis, I would say, as far as speed-wise. But still has that ability to do it, which is going to open up for the other guys in the pass game and, like you said, in the run game too. So I think specifically it'll help Pitts and London more, but even the offense as a whole should help them get moving.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. And, I mean, Mooney has always had decent talent. He's never been that upper echelon of guy, but definitely a receiver that you like in your wide receiver 2 or wide receiver 3, a little bit further down the target share list. But I think the Falcons definitely needed another receiving weapon with how offenses are today and how many receiving weapons typical teams have. You can't just go out there with a wide receiver 1 and a tight end. It'll get covered up every play. So it was very smart of them getting another weapon here in Mooney, and we'll see if they draft even another receiver in Shear's draft. So
Yeah, I think that was a good move for sure. And then I think this is going to be the last guy we got. We got Deontay Johnson. Like I said, this happened right before we started recording. He's going over to the Panthers. I think it's a good look for the Panthers, at least, that they're, they want to have pass catchers for their franchise quarterback, because they last year decided they didn't need any, but now they're starting to make moves towards that. So hopefully that can help out Bryce Young. Obviously had a very rough rookie season, but for me, I don't want to assess anything on him yet because he was in a terrible situation, so I think it's way too early to see. So I think this year will be a slightly better test to see if he's able to do something with. Hopefully they make some more moves, but at least they got Deontay Johnson for him now.
yeah, definitely. And I'm personally not giving up on Bryce Young just yet in the NFL. This is a move. It was a good move. I think they really needed to do more this year. I know the free agency pool wasn't great, but hey, T. Higgins still asking for a trade. Calvin Ridley's rolling around somewhere. I think they need to get him in an actual wide receiver one. And in my eyes, Deontay Johnson just really doesn't move the needle too much for me. It gives me a little more confidence, but man, they need to do something else.
Yeah, they need more, but my thing is just this, at least that's the right direction. Some teams
Definitely.
seem like they're always moving backwards, but it's one step forward. Hopefully they don't take three more back and they keep that trail forward.
Yep.
Cool.
A couple minor things here that I have.
Yeah, go.
Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, both returning to the Bucks. I know it happened quite a few days ago here, but Evans locked in for 2 years, Baker locked in for 3. So hopefully Evans can keep that 1,000-yard streak going. Doesn't look like Chris Godwin's going to get too much of a bump like I was expecting if Evans moved on. But one person I really am excited for is Rachaad White. He played super well this year, got a lot of dump-offs, did really well in the receiving game. And now that Baker's back, I do expect that to keep up. And I think he solidifies himself as like a top 15, 20 running back again this year. So
Yeah, should be in that high-end RB2, maybe sneak in bottom-end RB1 conversation. So good for Baker, honestly. Good to see that, after his struggles. And hopefully for Darnold, he can take that similar route. It took Baker kind of until last year he had a good first year and then fell off. Darnold hasn't had a good year. But I imagine he's trying to have that Baker, So hopefully this one-year prove-it deal does something for him. But anything else you wanted to mention?
No, Michael Pittman re-signed. I feel like everyone was looking forward to that, thinking that the whole time. So
yeah,
should be it.
So pretty straightforward there. Like we said at the beginning of the video, newer channel, liking and subscribe goes a long way to helping us out, so we would appreciate it very much. We are gonna go ahead and record that running back video, have that out soon too, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, it's been big time fantasy football. Zach, Nick, we're out.
Have a good one.